Imagine standing in your backyard on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. The grill is warming up, the kids are playing, and suddenly everyone freezes because a high-pitched drone fills the air. You look up at the eaves of your roof or the underside of your deck, and there it is. A swirling, aggressive vortex of wasps guarding a paper nest the size of a football. Your first instinct is to run to the garage, grab a $10 can of pressurized neurotoxins, and blast the entire area from 20 feet away. But before you pull that trigger, you need to analyze the reflexive logistics of what you are about to do. You are about to release a chemical cloud that stays on your siding, leaches into your garden, and creates a toxic environment for your pets and the beneficial honeybees that we desperately need for our ecosystem. What if I told you that the ultimate neutralizer for an entire nest isn't a complex synthetic poison, but a $1 household item sitting right next to your kitchen sink? What if I told you that you could resolve the entire wasp threat using basic fluid dynamics and atmospheric pressure, without ever putting your family or the environment at risk? Today, we are uncovering the dish soap secret that the pest control industry hopes you never discover. We are going to break down the biological vulnerability of the wasp, explain the science of surface tension, and show you how to eliminate the danger for the price of a single lemon. To understand why this kitchen trick is so devastatingly effective, we first have to deconstruct the anatomy of a wasp. Unlike humans, wasps do not have lungs. They don't have a centralized respiratory system that pumps air in and out through a trachea. Instead, they rely on logistical efficiency. They have tiny openings all along the sides of their exoskeleton called spiracles. These spiracles are the main intake ports for oxygen. The air diffuses through these microscopic holes directly into their body cavity. It is a passive system that works perfectly as long as those holes remain open. However, there is a guardian of this system, and that guardian is water tension. Wasps, like many insects, are naturally hydrophobic. Their outer shell and their breathing ports are coated in natural waxes and oils that repel water. This is why a wasp can fly through a rainstorm and not drown in midair. The water beads up and rolls off, leaving the spiracles clear for gas exchange. This is where the $1 secret creates a mechanical failure in the wasp's architecture. When you add common dish soap to water, you aren't creating a poison. You are creating a surfactant. A surfactant is a chemical agent that breaks the surface tension of water. On a molecular level, the soap molecules force their way between the water molecules, making the water wetter. When soapy water touches a wasp, the natural waxes are instantly bypassed. The water no longer beads up. Instead, it spreads out into a universal film that instantly floods the spiracles. The wasp loses the ability to exchange oxygen within seconds. It isn't a chemical interaction. It is a mechanical obstruction. You are using physics to switch off their internal engine. Now let's talk about the logistics of the maneuver. Most people fail at natural pest control because they don't understand the strategic timing. If you try to neutralize a nest at high noon on a Tuesday, you are only targeting the security detail left at home. The majority of the colony is out foraging. When they return and see their home compromised, they become hyper-aggressive. The 5-star secret is atmospheric timing. You must execute the plan at dusk or dawn. This is when the ambient temperature drops, and the wasps congregate inside the home base for thermoregulation. By acting when the whole colony is present, you neutralize the threat in one single event, rather than starting a war that lasts for a week. The equipment list for this operation is laughably simple. You need a plastic spray bottle, the kind with the adjustable nozzle, and a bottle of concentrated dish soap. You mix the solution at a high ratio, about 20% soap to 80% water. You want the fluid to be viscous and heavy. This is critical because when you launch the solution, you need it to cling to the nest material. Paper nests are absorbent. The soapy water will soak into the internal chambers, neutralizing the guards and the larvae simultaneously through capillary action. Let's discuss the safety logic. Why is this safe for pets and honeybees? Synthesis chemicals used in store-bought sprays are general neurotoxins. They don't differentiate between a wasp, a dog, or a garden bee. They lingering on the surfaces for weeks. However, soapy water only neutralizes what it directly contacts while the water is liquid. Once the soap dries, it is inert. A honeybee landing on a dry leaf an hour later is completely unaffected. Your dog sniffing the grass is safe. You are applying a zero-residual solution. You are targeting the threat, not poisoning the environment. It is precision logistics at the highest level. But how do you stay safe during the application? This is where the analysis of wasp psychology comes in. Wasps register threat through visual movement and vibration. If you approach the nest with a loud ladder and jerky movements, you trigger the alarm pheromone. The secret fix involves slow-motion proximity. You want to creep up to the nest under the cover of dim light. Use a red lens flashlight if you need visibility, as wasps cannot see the red spectrum effectively. When you are within effective range, you open the nozzle to a stream setting, not a mist. You want a high-velocity jet that saturates the entry hole at the bottom of the nest. The moment of contact is fascinating from a biological perspective. Because the soap bypasses their repellent layer instantly, the wasps do not have the time to coalesce into an attack formation. They drop from the nest almost immediately because their wing muscles fail as their oxygen levels plummet. You are creating a tactical shutdown that prevents the release of the alarm chemicals. By neutralizing the guards before they can signal the interior, you ensure a quiet resolution. Many people ask, what about the soap type? Does it have to be a specific brand? The physical reality is that grease-cutting soaps work fastest because they are engineered to break down organic oils. The waxy coating on a wasp is structurally similar to kitchen grease. By using concentrated liquid soap, you are maximizing the rate of penetration. This is chemistry meeting anatomy. It is the ultimate $1 kitchen trick because it leverages a common compound against a specific biological vulnerability. Now let's analyze the economics of the pest industry. A professional exterminator will charge somewhere between $200 and $500 for wasp removal. They arrive in a branded truck, put on a spacesuit, and pump the same chemicals you can buy at the hardware store. They monetize your fear of getting stung. But if you understand the dish soap logic, you realize that the danger is manageable through science. You remove the profit margin from the fear and replace it with empowerment. The structural logistics of the nest are also important. If the nest is hidden inside a wall cavity or a hollow tree, a spray solution might not reach the core. In these complex scenarios, the professional secret is the soapy foam. You can create a high-expansion foam by agitating your soap mixture and using a pressure sprayer. This foam expands into the internal voids, coating every surface with the neutralizing agent. It blocks the airflow completely. You have infiltrated the hardened structure using nothing more than bubbles. Why does the industry hide this? Sustainability. If they told you that dish soap and water could resolve your pest issues, their chemical suppliers would go out of business. There is no money in a solution that you already own in unlimited quantities. Patented formulas and registered toxins are proprietary assets. Physics and soap are public knowledge. They market the complexity to mask the simplicity. By learning this trick, you are exiting the consumer trap. We also have to consider the honeybee factor. We are currently facing a global pollinator crisis. Many wasp sprays linger on flowers and in soil, neutralizing the bees that are essential for food production. By switching to the dish soap method, you are engaging in responsible infrastructure management. You are eliminating the predatory wasp without collateral damage to the beneficial bee. It is ecological stewardship masking as home maintenance. There is an old guard philosophy in pest control that says, if it's not toxic, it doesn't work. This is false logic. The most powerful forces in nature are physical, not chemical. Gravity, pressure, and surface tension are absolute. They don't require an evolutionary response because they are fundamental properties of the living world. A wasp can't evolve to breathe water any more than a human can evolve to breathe vacuum. By applying the soap, you are enacting a universal physical law. Let's analyze the cleanup logistics. When you use traditional sprays, you are left with oily residue on your siding that can cause discoloration or attract dirt. When you use the kitchen trick, your cleanup consists of hosing down the area with fresh water. You are effectively washing your house while neutralizing the pest. You leave no trace, no odor, and no hazard. It is the cleanest resolution possible for a messy problem. What about wasp traps? Many people spend money on plastic traps and pheromone lures. These traps often attract more wasps to your property than were there initially. They manage the symptoms but ignore the source. The dish soap trick is a surgical strike on the source. You aren't inviting them to your yard, you are neutralizing the production center they have already established. It is aggressive prevention versus passive intervention. I have personally seen this method clear a massive hornet nest in a public park where chemicals were prohibited due to the proximity of a children's playground. The park rangers used a large pressure tank of soapy water and resolved the situation in 15 minutes. No evacuation was necessary. No hazard warning signs were posted. The water simply soaked into the duff and biodegraded. It was invisible engineering at its finest. If you encouraged your neighbors to adopt this method, you could collectively shift the toxic load of your entire neighborhood. Imagine a community where pest threats are managed with kitchen logistics rather than industrial toxins. The bird populations would thrive, the water table would cleanse, and the children could play in the grass without chemical exposure. It starts with a single spray bottle and the knowledge of surface tension. We also need to talk about psychological resistance. When you tell someone you solved a wasp problem with lemon-scented soap, they might not believe you. They expect a spectacle of science. They want the noisy machine and the chemical odor. But true intelligence is finding the shortest path to the desired result. The result is a safe home. The path is dish soap. Accepting the simplicity is the final step in mastering the environment. What if the nest is high up? Physical access can be a barrier, but the logistics still apply. You can purchase a long-range stream attachment for your garden hose and add a soap reservoir. This is often called a Venturi sprayer. It sucks the soap into the water stream automatically. You can reach a secondary roofline from the safety of the ground. You project the neutralizing power distance-wise, maintaining your personal safety while delivering the physical solution. The analysis of the nest cycle reveals that spring is the best time for small interventions. A queen wasp starts with a nest the size of a golf ball. If you touch that small structure with a drop of soapy water, you neutralize the founder before she can produce the workers. You prevent the army from ever mobilizing. It is micromanagement of your property's ecology. By staying vigilant with your kitchen tools, you ensure that massive infestations never occur. Honeybees, on the other hand, are rarely found in paper nests hanging from eaves. They prefer hollow cavities. If you see fuzzy, golden insects moving in and out of an enclosed space, do not use the soap. Honeybees are protected and can often be relocated by a professional beekeeper. The dish soap trick is a targeted tool for the paper wasp, the hornet, and the yellow jacket, the aggressive predatory species that threaten your immediate safety. Learning species recognition is part of the logistics of successful pest control. When you respect the ecosystem, you gain the advantage. You aren't trying to eliminate nature. You are managing the interaction between nature and your structure. A wasp nest in the deep woods is a good thing. They eat caterpillar pests. But a wasp nest over your front door is a safety breach. The dish soap method allows you to correct the breach with minimum disturbance to the surrounding life. It is the gentle warrior's approach. In the future, as toxin regulations become more strict, this $1 trick will move from a hidden secret to a standard practice. You are ahead of the curve. You have learned the mechanism. You understand the vulnerability, and you have the tools right now in your cabinet. No shopping trip, no heavy equipment, and no residual danger. The next time you see that aggressive drone scouting your porch, don't panic. Don't call the professional. Don't reach for the toxic can. Smile, because you know the logic. Go to the kitchen, mix your solution, and watch as physics resolves the conflict for less than a nickel. You are the master of the environment, protector of the bees, and steward of your home's safety. Stay observant, keep the surface tension low, and let the power of soap maintain the peace. This is the end of the wasp threat and the beginning of your scientific independence in the world of pest control. Manage the flow, neutralize the risk, and enjoy your backyard paradise without the chemicals.